waifus, trade fights for better views. We both need something new. Maybe we should just tell them. Shouldn't think I is so good. So long to rendezvous. So long to.
Hello, hive-minded readers, and welcome to the Books and the Bees podcast. Just like bees play a crucial role in pollinating flowers and sustaining life, books pollinate minds and nurture the soul. We see the connection between the two, the delicate dance of ideas and stories that enrich our lives.
I'm Hailey.
And I'm Cody.
Welcome to our podcast.
Hello, Hailey.
Hello.
Episode 50.
Yay.
We've done it.
We did it.
We can be done now. Yeah.
We're done now. And a podcast.
We're done at 50.
Yep, that's
did
it.
it.
That's a wrap.
That's it. That's it. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yay, I'm good. I'm resting after the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it's over.
Yep.
My in-laws actually left today. They flew back home, so
Aww.
we have the house to ourselves, and we're enjoying the peace and quiet right now.
Nice.
Yeah, we had a good time. We had a good time with the family, and it was great seeing everybody. Got great gifts and excited.
Nice. Did you do anything special and or fun?
We didn't do anything crazy, I would say. We went to a light show, a Christmas light
Ooh.
show that was like a drive-through.
Oh, I
that was
love
pretty
those.
fun.
Those are cool.
It was a really long wait, but once we got through it, it was worth it. And then went to different places, like went to Thomas Jefferson's house in Monticello and did a tour there. We went to a Waffle House because my in-laws hadn't been, and that was a wild experience.
An experience.
What else did we do? Yeah, it
that.
was an experience. And then we just kind of toured around the city. Went to Melting Pot last night for dinner, and that was another experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've learned that Melting Pot is not for everyone. But it was good.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it was good at least.
Yeah. How was your holiday season?
It was pretty calm, which is nice. I don't usually... we don't have a lot of calm holiday seasons in my family, so that's always nice to have one that's not too bad. Yeah, we actually, what was really cool is so back in like my middle school year, one of my middle school years, we had a foreign exchange student live with us from the Czech Republic, and
wow.
Since then, like we've stayed in touch with him and his family, and like my brother and his wife have like even gone and like visited them, and he like came back one year and visited. It was really cool. So we actually got to FaceTime him and his family, which was really cute because he has like a whole family now and like his own like children and stuff, which is really cool. And so
that's awesome.
Nice.
I love that so much.
Yeah, it was awesome. We love our foreign exchange student. That was a really cool experience. I feel like if I could do that again, I totally would. Like even as an adult, I feel like that'd be a fun thing to do. But.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple in my high school. I don't remember if we had any in middle school, but we definitely had a few in high school. And I always thought it'd be kind of interesting to have them live with you, but I never knew anybody who actually had a foreign exchange student live with them. So that's really cool. Yeah,
it was really interesting. He was amazed by peanut butter.
Really?
Yeah, because apparently that's not like they don't have like Jif where he's from.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So he was like, what is this magical like bread spread? So that was one of the things. And just the language barrier was great. Finding out all the words and stuff. It was a fun time.
Cool. And like the Czech Republic is a really like
beautiful,
unique place. Beautiful. I remember one high school foreign exchange student. She was from Turkmenistan, and she had a lot of really interesting stories. And it's just a place you don't think about very often if you're an American, I think. And places like that, you just, I don't know, a lot of people can't even point out on the map. So it's cool to have people visit that can teach you about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it gives you a good perspective and worldview.
It does.
That sort of thing. It's cool.
That's so cool. I love that. Yay. Did you have any like amazing presents or, anything else you want to share about the holidays?
I did. My lovely husband got me the gift of the century, which is a page turner clicker thingy for my Kindle.
Oh, no shit. I've been wanting to test those out.
They're really
way.
Cool.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it's pink, which is cute. I didn't know what the hell it was when I opened it. I was like, what the fuck is this? Because it's very simple looking. Like, it does not look like what you would think it is. And that sounds bad, but it wasn't. But it's essentially like this little clippy thing that you like clip to your Kindle, and somehow the piece that you clip on to the front of your Kindle, so you connect it onto like the page part, and then it reads, like, it senses the page part of the Kindle, which is really freaking weird. And then once that's like synced up, then you just click the little clicker button and it turns your pages for you, which is wild.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I know. I've heard people talk about it. I've seen people on TikTok use it. I think even my aunt has one. I feel like she told me about it too. And I've seen people with a combination of like a stand. So like they're just in bed with the Kindle over their eyes, laying back, their hands under the covers with the clicker. And I'm like, does it get any better than that? And I have not experienced this myself. So you've used it? You love it?
I haven't like used it while reading just yet, but I did like test it out and stuff, which I think I'll like it. So I'm really excited.
You're gonna have to report back with like we'll have to do like a full segment on it so that we can tell the hive mind what they think.
Yes.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I was excited for it. But
yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And then I gifted
love it.
I gifted my mother, which I don't have like I don't know. This is gonna sound weird. I'm just gonna say it. But I gifted my mom the book Butchered and Blackbird. She loves a good like thriller type book. She's like, I think I've mentioned this before. She's a big fan of the John Grisham, that sort of genre. And then she really likes the Emily McIntyre books. And, so I was like, well, this is a gamble. So I gifted it to her. She hasn't said if it's good or not yet. But I did see her reading it, so.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that is kind of in her wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I hope, I hope she's not like too weirded out by it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's funny that you mentioned that because I gift books to most people in my family. So I gifted The Pairing by Casey McQuiston to my sister. I can now officially I can say this out loud because I know that she got it. And that book also is pretty spicy. Like I would rate it on the 5 honey scale because I mean, at the end it gets pretty spicy. And I was like, I wonder if this is an appropriate gift to give. But I think she's going to like it. So
yeah,
I know what you
she
mean.
likes it.
Although Butcher and Blackbird is kind of a whole different vibe. So
yeah, it actually, when I was reading the synopsis, description, whatever the hell you want to call it, this is me admitting to something that I don't think I've admitted to on the podcast or like to the public in my life. So if you know me and you're reading this, please don't go find this. I have written fan fiction, and I wrote a fan fiction inspired very heavily by Dexter. I'm not gonna say what not genre, what media it revolves around. I can tell you off air, but
yeah. I mean, if you have a link, I would, if you're comfortable with reading it, I would totally.
It's so bad. I wrote it like very quickly, very. I mean,
we all did shit like that we're not proud of, you know?
Right.
So,
well, and it's one of those things where like when you're writing something or you're creating an art of any like form, like you're very hypercritical of it.
Yeah. And
like that's who I am as a person. I'm very hypercritical of myself. And so I'm sure it's not as bad as I think it is, but when I read it back, I was like, wow, this is terrible. But But yeah, I do dabble in the fan, or I used to in college when I had more time. And but anyways, my point is that the description of the book, which I feel like it's probably not original thought, you know, based off of like the media that we consume and that sort of thing. If you watch Dexter, or Dexter type-ish things, or read Dexter type-ish things, but it very much reminded me of the fan fiction that I wrote, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. But this person it does have a Dexter feel to it. Yeah. Well, it's like crazy that I was like, when I was reading it, I was like, wow, to think that I could have like went along with that and like published it, and like, you know. Yeah. But well, anyways. Now I feel like now's the time for that kind of fiction. I feel like everyone is into dark romance right now. Very much. So yeah. Very much, yeah. Now's the time to dust off those pens and start writing. Get out the old Google Docs. There you go. I love it. Cool. I'm glad you had a good Christmas. Yeah. Sounds like a really fun time. Yeah, sounds like you had a good Christmas as well. We did. Had a great Christmas. Do you know what's also great? What? The books we're reading right now. Let's go. Do you want to tell me what you're reading? Yes. It's nothing. Also fair. Yeah, I mean, holidays are busy. It's the end of the year. Yeah. I'm very, not that I'm busy by any stretch of the imagination, but I was using these last few days to just kind of like chill the hell out. Yeah. Which, not that doesn't involve reading, but you know. Yeah. I'm sure that I will start something before the beginning of the year. Obviously not before this podcast episode probably airs, but I will likely in the next episode have something to report on. Yay. Yeah. I don't know. It's always weird at the end of the year because you're like, should I wait and just start a book at the first of the year so that I start fresh? Or like, how do I finish tracking? Like, do I consider the book I finished part of the following year or the book of the year before? And, you know, it's always kind of a mess. So I get that. Yeah. I think if you finish a book in the new year, then that counts as your first book of the year. That's what I follow. Although I think this year I actually finished a book on New Year's Eve and started the book on New Year's Day. Let's go. Really well. And I might try to do that this year. Hell yeah. So, that's a good idea. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Yeah. You never know. What are you getting into, Cody? Well, I finished The Pairing. It was great. Let's go. Highly recommend. I won't really get into much detail. I feel like I've talked about it enough, but it was really good. I loved it. Would have been in my top 10 if I had read it sooner. Wow. And then I've been into a little bit of a sci-fi kick lately with the Dungeon Crawler Carl. I feel like kind of sparking that for me. So I listened to an audiobook called Not Till We Are Lost, which is part of the Bobiverse series. And I don't think I've talked about them on the pod before, but I've been reading them for a while. It's basically about this guy named Bob who is a computer programmer. He ends up getting like rich somehow and decides to upload his consciousness into a computer. And then he dies. Oh, shit. And you fast forward to a few hundred years later, and the government decides to take his consciousness, put it into a spaceship called a von Neumann probe. If you're a sci-fi fan, you know those are like spaceships that can replicate themselves with like a 3D printer and stuff. Wow. And they sent him out to like do shit for him and discover the universe and things like this. And so it's called Bobiverse because Bob replicates multiple ships that all have the same consciousness that he started off with. I love that. They all are basically Bobs, and they kind of have their own names. Like one's called Bill, one's called Garfield, one's called, like Hector. I mean, there's a bunch of them. And in book 5, there's now like, I don't know, thousands and thousands of Bobs, and other species have been identified. And so this book is really just kind of continuing in the series, and I love them because they're fun and silly. Bob is a super like techie nerd that I totally relate to, and I just love the way he talks. It's definitely like a male centric book because, for one thing, just about every character is male because they're all Bobs. But it's a fun read. I enjoy them, and I actually listened to this one, which is the first time I've listened to a book in the series, and the narrator, Ray Porter, did a great job. So
I think this is a great book for like the sci-fi dads out there, or the sci-fi, boyfriends, husbands, significant others. They're a fun, quick read, and I enjoy them. So I would check those out.
That sounds really interesting, and
yeah,
like it could be a fun read.
They're fun. It is. I would say like they're self-published kind of. So like it can be hard to realize which Bob is talking, because for one, they all sound like the writing style makes them all seem exactly the same. And they get really confusing on how many there are in their names and stuff. So that part kind of sucks, but they're good. I enjoy them. And then the other book that I started, I actually just finished it like an hour ago, is called Antibot by Sierra Greer. This is like the exact opposite of Bobiverse. It is a sex robot that develops consciousness and realizes that she's owned by her owner, who's kind of like a douchey guy. And the book is kind of reflecting on what it's like to be a woman in a relationship where the man is trying to dominate everything. And what does it mean to be a person? Like, what delineates an AI from a person? And like, when does that line kind of melt together? Really interesting book. I think I'm going to be thinking about this book for a really long time. Like, I just finished it an hour ago, and I still feel like I'm trying to process everything in it.
Oh, wow.
And it speaks a lot to relationships and humanity and just what it's like to be, I think, a female in this century, especially with everything going on right now. Obviously, I can't speak from that perspective because I'm a male, but it was an interesting book. I think I'm going to think about this book for a long time. I think I'm going to recommend this book to certain people who I feel like need to learn this lesson a little bit. And it's definitely going to be a book I talk about for a while, and probably also would have been on my top 10 if I had read it sooner.
Oh yeah. Wow. That sounds like an interesting book. I wish that I was more into like that genre, because I feel like I'd enjoy it.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting. That's, I think, the best way to describe it. I feel like if I say too much, it'll give away stuff, and I don't really want to do that. I feel like you're just going to come into the book naked. So, yeah. Yeah. Also kind of creepy. I feel like sex bots is a territory we don't need to go to as a society, but I think it's basically inevitable. So, yeah.
I think we are barreling towards that, and I feel like I feel like that's a Pandora's box of a not so good thing.
It definitely weirds me out, and it's a weird way to feel, I think.
Yeah, the concept of not being able to have human connection to the point where you need an inanimate object in order to meet that need weirds me out.
Well, and like the book, I feel like this isn't super spoilery, so I'll say it, but maybe skip like 15 seconds if you don't really want any spoilers. But like her name's Annie, the bot. She couldn't say no to sex or like anything, and she didn't want to say no. She was geared to recognize his displeasure, like in anything. Like if he was a 2 out of 10 on the scale that she had, she would get stressed out and like do everything she could to try to make him happy. And I was like, this is really, like, I'm very uncomfortable with this.
That's like a next level of like subservience.
Yeah, it's really disturbing. And it's even worse when you're like, people, like, women do this all the time without like having to think about it the same way that she does. Like, it's just, it made me really uncomfortable in a good way, I think.
Made you think.
But I don't want a sex bot.
That whole... Listen, I have been scarred from a very young age of watching... Not that iRobot scarred me in any capacity, but watching that movie was very, like, impactful, I think, for my tiny brain. And I...
Same for me.
Think about it often. Especially with the way that our society is going currently. I'm like, we're about to learn a lesson we should have learned a long time ago.
No, I'm totally with you 100%. And like, I'm nice. I try to be nice to Alexa, even though I'm not always nice to her, because if she does become sentient, I don't want to be on her bedside.
Yeah, so. We got rid of our Alexa when she started doing weird shit in our house, and I was like, "Yep, nope, that's it. We're done. Unplug."
I've thought about it. Not gonna lie, I've thought about it.
Yeah.
Especially because I feel like Amazon is a bad company to have unlimited access to your home. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a whole... We should go down that rabbit hole one of these episodes.
Yeah,
because I'd love to have a stream of consciousness of just like how intrinsically evil it is to like prey upon the data of humans and like whole...
Yeah, we should. I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
I think that's a good idea. But this is the New Year's Eve episode, so happy New Year's Eve.
Sorry.
We're supposed to be like reflecting and like thinking about the new year.
Listen, our new year, I'm reflecting all right, okay?
It's true. I feel like 2025 is going to be a rough year, I think. So
yeah,
I feel like we're par for the course right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go in cautiously cautious. I'm going to go in cautious. Yep.
Same. Should we jump into beekeeping?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't have much beekeeping. I think the only thing that I want to talk about is Book Riot has introduced the 2025 reading log, which the fellow listeners who have been here since the beginning know that this is how I track my reading. I've done it for the last 4 years. I think this is the 5th year that I'm doing it. And they just released the sheet, which is not a gigantic deal because it's basically the same thing every year. But they always change a couple things. This year they changed the color to be black and gold, and I hate it so much. I showed it to Hailey before we started recording. It's so terrible. I'm so sorry, Book Riot. Like, I love your stuff, but please, you need to get shit approved like through people. This is a bad mistake. This is your fault. This is on you. Way to really start 2025 off with a good note, Book Riot. Thank you so much. So other than that, I'm excited for it because I love to start on a clean sheet. I love to start on a new year. I love to track my reading in a really complicated and specific way. So Book Riot kind of scratches that itch for me. We were actually looking at all the categories. Like, there's a lot to track on this Excel sheet.
It's a lot of info.
And it can be fun. It can also be a lot of work. Towards the end of this year, I actually felt like it was a lot of work for me. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe this sheet might be running out of its usefulness for me. So I guess we'll see what it's like in 2025. But I'm going to start off with it and see how I like it. Because I do like the stats. You do get charts. You get a shit ton of charts and stats. So it's nice to see all that. But it can also be a hassle to fill out. So
nice.
Do with it what you will.
Yeah.
But it's there. I'll put the link in the show notes. It's fun to do if you like sheets. So
I was just going to say, it gives very much Excel spreadsheet. But... like, not in a terrible way, I don't think. Yeah. It's
I think, It's for certain people, I think, for sure.
Yeah, no, if you have that, like, data brain, for sure.
Yeah. I might actually try, I sent it to you, and I haven't gotten it yet, I don't think, because I couldn't figure out how to do it, but NetGalley has a free, like, downloadable PDF, I think, that you can track your reading for. And I tried to access it, but I couldn't. I think I needed to log into that galley or something, and I just didn't do it.
Gotcha.
But I might try that too and see like if I like it better. And maybe I need to switch into something more like artistic and fun and not data-y. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you never know. Try new things.
Yeah. Try new things. New year, new us. That's the episode title. So,
new year, same me, but hopefully a leveled up version.
Yeah, new year, hopefully new energy.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Well, should we jump into our main event?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Hailey and I have for the new year come up with our own New Year's goals that we're both going to talk about throughout the year and kind of push for ourselves. And then we also are debuting the 2025 Books and Bees Reading Challenge, the first one we've ever done since this is our first starting off of the new year, which has 10 items. 8 of them are books we want you to read, and 2 of them are activities we want you to complete. So we will talk about those throughout the whole year too. So I'm really excited to talk about this stuff because I think it's going to be really fun, and it'll be a great way to kind of track how we're doing throughout the year.
I agree.
It'll also give us free content to talk about when we don't have any ideas for books or for episodes.
Also that.
I'll cut that up. Or maybe not. I don't know.
No, don't
We'll
leave it in.
We'll
Leave
see. Cool. So we each have 5 of our own specific goals that we want to do for ourselves, and then we have the 10 for the reading challenge. So Hailey, do you want to start with your first goal?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So my first goal, because my goal this year was, I'm starting with my reading challenge, my
Yes.
Goodreads reading challenge. It doesn't have to be a Goodreads reading challenge, which could just be a regular reading challenge. But my reading challenge for this year was to read 101 books, and that simply did not happen. But I did manage to read 10 more books than I did last year, so that's cool.
Hell yeah.
With that being said, my goal next year for 2025 is to read 50 books. I think that's a reasonable number.
Yeah.
I think it's a good whole number, so we'll just do that.
50 is a great number.
Yeah.
I think 50 is an awesome number. Yeah. It's how many episodes we've done. It's how many books you're going to read in 2025. It's a good number.
I think it's obtainable, and I think that's the thing that I'm going to lead into the next year is like, let's reel it in a little bit.
Same. I feel the same way, actually. I feel like that's my overarching theme for reading is to not make it stressful for me.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. I love it. Great goal to start off with, Hailey.
Thanks. What's your first goal?
My first goal is of the same bent. And I talk about these a lot. And I love new releases. I secretly am obsessed with reading books that come out the year they come out. I usually publish the top 10 of books that were released in the year. And it's kind of a thing that I've become more obsessed with lately. And I feel like I am now just reading new releases and not enjoying books that I miss. Because, I mean, you can't read every single book that comes out every year.
Yeah.
And I want to kind of relieve myself of this pressure. So, and it also puts pressure on me from the library perspective because I do the majority of my reading from the library, which means if I want new books, they typically have a longer hold, and then I end up with a shit ton of holds that come through all at once, and then I'm super stressed out because I don't want to read all those when they come in, but I feel like I need to because the hold's been so long. So I just kind of get into this spiral of like me reading stuff even though I don't want to. So I want to try to read more backlog books than new releases this year, which is going to be a pretty big shift for me. But I think it's going to be better for me overall. I think it's going to be more fun. I think I'll have less stress trying to read books before they get returned to the library. That being said, I do have like new releases that I'm excited about that are authors that I've been a fan of for a really long time. So I'm not going to ban myself from new releases, but I'm definitely going to make a priority to read books that were not published in 2025. Hell
yeah. I like that goal. So good.
Yeah. And it's also nice because I can still read books in 2024 that I didn't get to this year, which, you know, there's a lot of great books I haven't yet read. So looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I also have a stack of books that I definitely bought this year and I have not even touched.
Yep. That being said, I do have 3 arcs to read that are due.
Well,
I think the first one's in February, and then the rest are like in April and something.
Okay.
So like I have time. It's a new TJ Klune, so I feel good about that. But
nice.
Yeah, that's a first world problem. Definitely not going to focus on that right now. Hailey, what's your second goal?
My second goal is just to read at least one diverse book each month.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's a great goal.
Yeah. I figure, it's nothing too wild and crazy of a number. I think I can at least find and purchase one diverse book out of each month.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a reasonable goal, and I feel like I did a pretty good job this year, 2024. So I feel like in 2025, like, let's keep that momentum, but like be reasonable about it. And yeah, I think that's like the overarching theme of mine too, is just like to not stress so much about everything and to not put so much pressure on myself to have these wild, crazy, outlandish goals that seem like a good, in theory, idea. Not that there's anything wrong with, reading 20 diverse books, in a month, or, go for it. sky's the limit. But I think I'm gonna bring my sky down a little bit into something more obtainable. So
yeah, well, and it's like it's a generic goal in the sense that like diverse means a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So like a lot of books fall into the category, and they're still accomplishing the goal of like diversifying your reading, which you know we talk about all the time. We love it here. So I think it's a really smart. I think it's a really smart goal. I really like it.
Yeah, and I think it also gives me the freedom to like, you know, like you said it, but diversity can mean anything. So if I, you know, read an LGBTQ book, perfect. If I read a, you know, a book that's from a, I don't know, like a Asian author or a disabled author or, you know, whoever, then
an alien.
Yeah, an alien from an alien perspective. I mean, but yeah, so, you know, just something that it frees the space up a little bit too, I think, than just being like, I have to read from this like specific box.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's
totally with you on that.
Necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a thing. So
yeah, I mean it's good to read diversely because you want to read diversely, not because you feel like you need to check a box.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
No,
like,
exactly.
Like we don't need to showboat that we read diversely, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think your goal reflects that. Yeah. Like you're just authentically trying to get more diverse reading into your life, not, you know, showboat to everybody.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. I love it.
Thanks. What's your next goal?
Well, my next goal is also from this perspective, but it's a little more specific because I feel like this is one that's been lacking a lot for me, and I just want to try. But it's also less specific than I usually am because I usually do try to do like read one book a month. It's like this. Like last year, I did translated and short stories. I wanted to do one a month of each of those, and I kind of felt like I was putting myself under too big of a strict thing. So this year I'm just going to try to read more books with disabled representation, you know, author, character, whatever that is. I feel like that's something that I'm lacking in, and I want to do better like you.
Hell yeah.
I'm just going to read. I don't have a specific number on it. I'm just going to try to read more books that have representation of disabled individuals and just kind of, you know, let it happen organically instead of me having a specific number.
Hell yeah. I feel like that's really good and obtainable, and I feel like it'll like help like what's the word I'm looking for? It'll create more avenues to actually like find those types of books. Because I feel like they're not as like readily available as you might think. Right. Or as like our listeners might think. It's not to say that they're not out there, because obviously they are, but you know what I mean? Like it's just they don't get like, you know, they don't get touted very often. Exactly. Yeah. They don't get the accolades that they deserve. They don't get the representation that they deserve. They don't get the audience that they deserve. So yeah, and I feel like both of our like diverse goals are good because like you've got one book a month, but it's from any diverse perspective. Yeah. And then I've got just whatever amount of books, but from one perspective. I feel like those are really good like reflections of like not stressing yourself out too much. Yeah. You know? I agree. Yeah. Yay. I think it's your turn. What is your next book or your next goal? Yeah. My next reading goal, this is my third one, I think. Yeah. Is to read whatever I want as long as it's interesting. That's my goal. It's beautiful. Thanks. I think that's a fantastic goal. It's one that I am trying to do as well. Yeah. I'm tired of the restraints, of the restriction. I'm tired of putting myself in a box. Just do whatever. Yep. And I feel like, not that we don't love the podcast, because we do, but the podcast, I think, put pressure on us as readers that we didn't foresee. Yes. And it makes sense that we're both like freeing ourselves a little bit, because at the end of the day, we should be talking about books that we love and not books that we think people want us to love. Yes. Maybe. I agree. So I think that's a really good goal. I like it a lot. Yeah. Thanks. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Yeah. I'm just coughing up a storm while Hailey's talking about her amazing goal. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just have like I don't know, I got a little something in the back of my throat and
No.
I'm drinking some orange juice, but I feel like it's making it worse, not better.
That's the beginning. Better. Oh, this is so out of left field, kind of, but goes along with what we're talking about. Not books related, obviously, but have you tried the emergency that it's like fucking Pop Rocks?
Like the little chewable things?
No, it's like a powder in like it looks like a Crystal Light packet, and it's Emergency, like the brand. And it's like taking Pop Rocks in like a Crystal Light packet, and it's
do you put it in a drink?
Nope,
or
you just straight
shotgun
shoot it back.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's weird.
I've had the drink mixture, and I've had I guess it's Airborne that I've had.
Gross.
Yeah, the drink mixture, and then the little like chewable tablets that are really disgusting.
Yeah,
but never the Crystal Light.
It's weird.
Pop Rocks. That sounds wild.
I didn't know it existed until like, I don't know, a few months ago. I tried it because I felt like I was getting sick. And then because I was sick in the last couple weeks, my husband was like, do you want some Emergency? Not that you should be taking those while you're sick because they do nothing. But
yeah.
They're more for like if you're traveling or like if you think you're gonna be in like a public area. But anyways, but and I honestly am fairly skeptical if they actually even do anything, to be honest. But
I mean, I'll tell you right now that vitamin C does not reduce your cause of getting sick. But anyways, it's a what is it called? Like a placebo, right?
Yeah, it is a placebo.
If it makes you feel better, it makes you feel better.
Yeah, listen, I was okay. This is also a tangent, but when we went to EDC in EDC Electric Dance Festival thing.
Got it.
That's not what it stands for. Electronic Dance something. Anyways, concert? Fuck, I don't know. Anyways, it's in Vegas.
No idea.
And it's huge. It's like thousands, like tens of thousands of people attend. I was shotgunning Emergency and Liquid IVs together to keep my body going because it's like a 3-day for if you're like getting there the day before the festival weekend starts.
And you're just raging all the time.
Yeah,
right?
and it's like 12-hour days that you're putting in of like walking around and like in Vegas, like nighttime heat, and it's in the desert. Like it's intense.
Dry.
Yeah. Dry, dehydrated, just not good.
Yuck.
And you're exposed to like all sorts of fucking people, so that's fun. But yeah, that was like my concoction that I was mainlining. Yeah.
I should buy Liquid IV when I go to conferences. That's a good idea, actually, because I'm really bad about staying hydrated when I go to things like that. So
no, they're really good. And also, you should drink mineral water, mineral and glacier and spring water. Yeah,
I do like to do that.
Yeah, it's good for you. Anyways,
cool. I don't know where we.
What's your next goal?
Okay, I was like, I'm not sure where we ended up. This goal, I think Hailey's gonna be really proud of me for. I think this is gonna be this might be my most challenging goal.
Hell yeah!
Is to get a grip of my TBR. Meaning, like, I want my TBR to be functional. I want to like use my TBR like people do, where they're like scrolling through it to find stuff. I currently don't do that. Like, I have a huge one of Goodreads. It's over 500 books now. So I don't even know what it is. I never look at it, and I'm constantly just reading books that come across my, like, you know, my phone or whatever. And I think part of it is because I'm so obsessed with getting new books that's why I don't read a lot from my TBR. But it's also just because it's so big, it's so massive. And so I'm going to try to restructure a little bit. I'm actually going to try using Libby, which is the library app that I use for my electronic books. And they have tags where you can tag books. And I think I'm going to try to tag books by like category so that when I'm in the mood for like a sci-fi or a fantasy, I go to that tab and I just scroll through those books. And I'm going to try to keep it like at a maintainable level where I don't have 100 in each tab and I never use it. I'm going to try to like physically make it more useful for me. And so I'm going to not call my Goodreads my TBR anymore. I'm going to call that like the list of books I don't want to forget about. And make my TBR like a functional thing on Libby that I actually use and try to like work down and things like that. So that's going to be my goal for 2025.
Hell yeah. I'm so proud of you.
It's going to be tough, honestly.
I believe in you. I think you can do it.
It's going to be.
That's a
You're
lot
going to
of
have
books.
to help me with this.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of books to even have to go through too, to like sift through and like.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
A part of me is like, should I just delete it all and start over?
No.
But that feels so scary to me. Yeah.
No, it should just be. You know what you should call it? You should call it your book archive.
Yes, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, like your to be read archive.
Yeah, because I don't know, every time I go to a like bookstore or something and I don't want to necessarily buy the book, I'll put it on my Goodreads and be like, okay, well, this will remind me later
Yes.
of the book I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's useful. It's definitely not useful to be like, what am I going to read now? And I scroll through 500 books. Like, that's not feasible at all. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it.
I like it.
Hell
I
yeah.
like it. Hailey, what's your next goal? Your fourth goal, I think.
My next goal, my fourth one is I want to try to collect some cool book editions. I want to see
That's great.
what kind of books I can get into. So
I think that's a great goal.
Yeah.
Especially now, like supporting like books and publishers, I think is really important.
Yes.
And there's so many great editions coming out that it makes it really fun to buy books now more than it used to be in a lot of ways. So I think that's a great goal.
Yeah, and there's some really fancy editions out there, so I'm excited.
That is true. Very fancy editions out there.
Yeah. What's your next one?
Great goal.
Thank you.
My next one is this my last one? No, I don't think so. I think I got one more.
Yeah.
Two more. Okay. My next one is to continue to read more translated books, which was a goal that I'm carrying over from last year. I'm not putting a number on it. I'm just going to put just read more of them. And I'm going to try, I don't have this officially as part of the goal, but I'm going to try to read from countries that I didn't read this year so much, like Japan. I read a lot of Japanese translated books, which is great, but I also want to read books that were translated from other countries like Sweden or Turkmenistan or, whatever. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop myself from reading Japanese translated books, but I am going to try to read more translated books from countries that I haven't already read translated books from. So,
Hell yeah.
should be fun. I hope so.
It's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's easier. I feel like it's getting easier to find them too, which is nice because it used to be a lot harder to find them. And now it's not so hard, but it's still kind of hard. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, Hailey, what is your last goal of the year?
My last goal is to just track a little better. I really want to use the no offense Goodreads. I kind of want to step away from Goodreads just a smidge. Just in the way that I track my books. And I want to utilize the what is it called? Book graph?
Storygraph?
Yes, thank you. Storygraph. I want to download that and see what I can do with that app and maybe track my books a little bit better. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think Goodreads is slacking in a lot of ways.
It gives...
And Storygraph, a lot of people like Storygraph.
Yeah, Goodreads just... Goodreads just... No offense, Goodreads, but you guys need to step away from, like, the 1980s, like, Windows 2 freaking...
Yeah.
It's just the aesthetic of the app really turns me off.
The app is god awful.
Yeah, it's just sad. It's so
terrible
sad.
app.
It's so sad, and it irritates me because you can go online to Goodreads and you can look at all their articles and shit, and you cannot. At least I have not found a way, an easy way, anyways, to do that on the app, and it drives me insane.
I think that's the best part about Goodreads right now is the articles.
Yes.
Like, I feel like I like looking through the articles. I like seeing books that they bring up. I think they pick good books to talk about. In fact, next week I have a list already that we're going to talk about from Goodreads. But I hate the social part of it, the way they have it set up. I hate the like old school way. Like, it hasn't changed in like 10 years, 15 years.
I agree.
And it's time to change.
I agree.
Time to be better.
Goodreads, give me your app. I'll fix it. Give it.
Yeah.
Hand it over.
Daily. Give it to her.
I have ideas.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good goal.
Thank you. What's your last goal?
My last goal is kind of generic, but I want to really focus on reading as enjoyment instead of something that I feel like I need to do, which, again, I've talked about this earlier. It's not, the podcast has kind of made it feel a little bit more like homework, especially in the ARC department, which, like, I'm trying not to look at ARCs and to get ARCs unless it's a book I really, really know I want to read. So I want to focus more on the quality of my reading and not the quantity so much, which I already tried not to count how many books I read a year, but I still kind of sort of do. And I just want to enjoy the books I'm reading. I don't want to force myself to be like, I need to finish this book.
Right.
So I can talk about it on the podcast, or so I can log it and move on to the next one, or so I can move on to my 15 holds that I have. So I really want to just enjoy reading and not feel like I'm doing it for work.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good goal. I almost feel like it's like the commodifying of an art is never, it like disturbs the art aspect.
Yes,
of it.
I agree.
And
that's why I don't like rating books. I feel like rating books is so weird because a book that I think is a 1, you might think is a 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't feel like a rating should justify whether I should read the book or not.
I agree. It's like, I always get these two mixed up. Is it the subjection or the objectifying of, I can't remember if it's
subjectifying, I think.
Yeah, if it, like,
I think.
In doing that, I feel like when you do that to art, it like devalues art.
Yeah.
And it makes it less enjoyable, which is not the point of art or creation or creativity. No. You start doing that shit, capitalism, looking at you, and you just, you ruin shit. You ruin it.
Yep.
Well, and the joy.
It's funny that we bring this up, but the pairing, actually, the book The Pairing made me think about this because they talked about this a little bit, especially because, you know, they go to art museums in like Europe and whatever. And they're like, instead of me trying to run around this museum in an hour to see everything really quickly, why don't I just stand and stare at a piece of art for like 2 hours?
Yeah.
And like just reflect on it and how much work it took to put it together. And I was like, that's kind of how I feel like with reading. Like, I don't need to read a book in 2 days.
Yeah.
If I'm enjoying it and I'm reading it in 2 days, like I read Antibot in about 3 days because I was just so obsessed with the story and I just wanted to see what happened. And that's great. That's what I want. But I also, like, I read The Pairing over 14 days and I felt like that was a great way to read that book because I was reflecting on the book as I was reading. And I think that's more important than getting a number to the end of the year.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yay.
Good points.
So that's what I'm going to try. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but
I believe in you.
That's what I'm going to try. I think we can both accomplish all of our goals.
Yeah, I was just going to say we have some pretty good goals. So
we do. We're pretty good at our job, I think.
Hell yeah.
That doesn't pay us anything.
We do this for free, for fun.
We do it for free. Yay. Cool. Well, with the last remaining bit of our time, should we discuss / announce the Books and Bees 2025 reading challenge?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to go back and forth? I feel like that's the best. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. I don't care.
Let's do it.
Cool. So these are pretty straightforward. I don't feel like we have to get too crazy with them. Our first challenge is to read a translated book.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
I'm stoked, but also kind of scared about that one.
I might have a suggestion for you, actually.
Sweet. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Our next one is read a book at least 10 years old. This is obtainable as fuck. You can read. There's so many books.
Definitely obtainable. Do it. So many books. The next one is to read a short story, which can be just one short story, could be a collection, whatever the hell you want. Just read a short piece of fiction.
Yeah. Is there a specific criteria for a short story?
There is. Okay. I feel like 6,000 words is like the max. I'll put in because I feel like we should do an episode on each of these. Yes. I feel like we can talk about that when it gets closer, but I use your best judgment. I feel like I don't want to put a lot of pressures on our listeners. So like, if you think it's a short story, it counts as a short story. If it's if it's a poem, I think that counts. For me.
For sure.
So like, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Anything under like, I don't know, 200 pages to me is a short story.
I'm with you on that. I think that's a great number.
Hell yeah. Okay. My turn?
I think so.
Okay. This next one is read either a book that's been on your TBR for over a year or the oldest book on your TBR.
Yeah. I came up with this one.
Hell yeah.
Obviously, because I'm trying to work on my TBR. And the reason I put oldest book on your TBR is because some people's TBRs listen to your old.
Me.
So, yeah, exactly. So this is just me trying to work on my TBR again. So, hopefully that will help a little bit.
Yes, I think that's a good idea too, because you might have forgotten what was even on it, you know?
Yeah,
and
true.
And
like, you can always dump it. That's another thing too. You can always dump it.
You can DNF. It's fine.
You could DNF. It's fine to DNF.
It's all good.
Yeah. The next one is inspired by Hailey. It is read a diverse romance book, which I'm super excited about. I think there's going to be some great conversations about that.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I can already think of so many books that I want to read in that category. So I love it.
Samesies. And there's a plethora of them around, so do it.
Mm-hmm. So true.
All right, the next one is read a book with an old school romance cover. So like a Harlequin, for example. I'm like literally specifically thinking of like, if you've seen them in Barnes and Noble, you know what I'm talking about. They're like,
we know.
They're these short little compact books that seem so, what's the word?
They kind of repulse me in a weird way.
Yeah.
Is that really mean to say?
No, but they do. They look cheesy as fuck.
They look cheesy. Like, they do not appeal to me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted, like, sometimes I stand in front of those and I'm like, oh, man, what if this is like a really good book though?
It could be. It totally could be.
Is,
I'm
like,
sure they
weird.
are. Yeah. I mean, Harlequin is like one of the top publishers. I think they make, I don't know if they make the most money every year, but they make a shit ton of money still. Yeah. So people are reading them. And I feel like I mentioned this before, but when I was in San Diego last year, or the year before, my wife and I went to this romance themed bookstore.
I love that.
Whose name I'm forgetting. Oh, I wish I could remember what it's called. And they had like a history wall of like romance books. It was like, you know, one of the old school Harlequin romance. It had the first Black female protagonist romance book. And so I took pictures of some of those, and I think I'm going to try to do one of those because all of those had like the really like not appealing old school cover. So I think I might try to do one of those, and maybe I'll publish them or like I'll post them so that everybody else can see them too, and maybe read the same one.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a great. I'm in love with this idea.
Hell yeah.
For this challenge goal.
I'm so
I think
excited.
It's cool. Our next one is read a book with a really cool addition, like a sprayed edge or like, you know, something with a really cool cover. Like, did you get an Emily McIntyre recently that had a really like impressive cover? You know, something like that.
Hooked or like Fate Inked in Blood. I'm trying to think. Even the freaking Education of Malice had like a really beautiful. I don't know if it was necessarily like a special edition or anything, but it was very pretty. So yeah. Use your judgment, I think. But yeah, I love it. I think that's gonna be fun too. Hell yeah. All right, our next is a blind date with a book.
Yay! I love it.
Yeah.
I think this is really fun, and I feel like the motive behind this is to just read a book that you don't know anything about.
Yeah.
It could be a blind date with a book where you go to like Barnes and Noble or whatever and pick it out and buy it, or it could be just something that you like. You're at the library and you just walk by a book and you're like, that looks interesting, and I don't know anything about it. I'm going to buy it. And I'm going to read it.
Yep.
So, you know, however it works best for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be really fun.
I'm really excited for that one.
Me too. Is it my turn?
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the books. So we have 8 books to read, and then we have 2 activities. And the first activity is to visit an author signing, which can be in person at a library, could be virtual. If, you know, some random bookstore has a favorite author that you want to participate in. It could be pre-recorded, it could be live. I think whatever you want to do is fine, but it's great to go see authors talk about their books. And I think this is a phenomenal goal because it's something that I think about doing, but I never do very often. So
Yeah.
I love it.
And
I've actually only been to like one author signing, I think, in my whole life.
Really? Wow. Okay. Well,
I think so.
I mean, and I've only been, actually, I think I've only been to one memorably. I meant to go to two, but the second one didn't happen.
Oh, the weather.
Yeah, because the weather was terrible.
Yeah.
But I really want to do that more this year, and it's a really good way to like show the author support too. And obviously, like, this goal or challenge is totally within your means, so don't be like, no one needs to be spending like $500 to go like book a flight and like go.
100%.
This is not that. Unless you want it to be. If you want to go treat yourself and do that, then by all means. But, if like your local bookstore might be having, I know that a shit ton of them do, or try to anyways, do like author signings and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they're cool, and it's also a good way to support your local bookstore. So
yeah, I agree. And I think even throughout the year, we could like talk about like bookstores that are doing things.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about San Diego again. There's a bookstore called Mysterious Galaxy that they're pretty well known, and they do book stuff throughout the whole year, and a lot of it's virtual that you don't have to pay to attend. So
that's cool.
We could highlight books, or bookstores that do stuff like that, and you could virtually attend a book signing in San Diego or DC or Michigan or whatever. And yeah, I think that's a great idea. I love it. I love it.
All right. Well, our second activity, and our last on our list of the book challenge is, this one comes from Cody, but it's visit your local library, browse, get a card, participate in an event, whatever. So yeah, go hit up your local library, which I need to do that. I should do that.
Yeah.
I don't even...
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I put this on because I'm in a new city, and I've only been to the library once. I feel like that's kind of a disservice. So I plan on going to like browse or, participate in an event. And they have so many different events at your library, like crafting events, professional development events, all sorts of stuff. So if you already have a card, you can just walk around the library and browse. You don't even have to get a book. Like, you just walk around your library for a little bit and you've accomplished this goal. But if you don't have a card, you can go get a card. It doesn't take very long to sign up. You usually just need like a piece of mail to prove your address and your ID. And obviously it's free because it's a library. So, if you don't have a library card, now's a good time to get it.
Hell yeah. And it's good to get out too. It's a free space. We don't have a lot of those left in the world.
It's true. God, that's so true.
So like,
I think about that a lot.
Utilize it. Me too.
I miss free spaces.
I know. Same.
Yeah. We need more free spaces in our world.
I agree.
Yeah, and maybe Hailey can live stream her getting a card.
Yeah.
Now you'll dox yourself. Definitely not do that.
I'll go to a not local library that's not local. I'll go to another library that's...
You can fly to Illinois, where you used to live, and go to that library.
Actually, that library was so cute, and like, I didn't go into it, but I always liked the aesthetic of the outside, and I literally do not know where my local library is, where I'm currently living. Well, actually, that's not true. I don't know if it's still where it used to be, because I used to go all the time, but I don't know if it's still there, which is sad to think about.
I think there's a couple around here. The main one we've been to, that it's like a historical building, and they're trying, but it smells like mold in there because it's just an old building, and I just can't. Yeah, I don't feel good about it. So I might try a different location.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll see.
Oh, apparently there's one very close to me. Okay, anyway, sorry.
Ooh, exciting. I used to be a walking distance, like 3 blocks from my last library, which I am so jealous of right now because now I have to drive somewhere.
Oh, I do know where my local library. Well, mine is also in walking distance. I just didn't realize that was a library. That's so funny. Anyways.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, well, those are our goals, our personal goals, and our 2025 Books and Bees Challenge goals. We will talk about these throughout the year. Really excited about it. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
To the listeners. Happy New Year, Hailey.
Happy New Year, Cody. I'm hoping for...
The year of hope and winning.
Fun fact, sorry, I don't mean to make this episode hella long, but...
Go for it.
I did look up because I like looking up what the Chinese zodiac is for the year.
Oh yeah, cool.
And this 2025 is the year of the wood snake, which is a time for reflection and renewal for people. With my zodiac sign specifically, which is the pig sign. I am a pig. It sounded so fucked for me to say out loud.
Wait, like this year matches up with your zodiac?
No, so this year is so 2025 is the year of the snake, but my zodiac, my Chinese zodiac, is the year of the pig, because I was born in the year of the pig. And that's what it said for my year specifically. But
I'm the rooster.
You're a rooster? Do you want me to look that up real quick?
Yeah. Okay. If you have it nearby.
Yeah, let me. Yep.
I think was last year a year of the rooster, or I feel like it was within the last 2 years.
I don't know. No, this year was the year of the dragon.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Which I can see it.
Wait, hold on. Was I the year of the? Maybe I was the year of the dragon. Hold on.
Yeah, no, you're a rooster.
Year of the rooster. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep.
Okay, let me go back to rooster in the year of a snake. Can expect a variety of opportunities and challenges in the year of a snake, including, do you want to hear about your career, finances, relationship, health, and compatibility?
Is it short?
Yeah.
Sure. I'm ready.
Okay,
I'm
so
ready.
for your career, you can expect exciting changes and new opportunities in your professional life, breakthroughs in your career. You might be promoted.
Oh,
that's cool.
Okay, interesting.
You can expect a steady and prosperous financial year.
Okay, I love that.
Your relationships, you can expect a calm and balanced love life. We love that.
I love that.
Your health, you can expect to have a stronger immune system and a stable financial situation. I don't know why those two coincide, but okay.
Because there's no free healthcare in America.
That's so funny.
Okay.
And then compatibility. Roosters are most compatible with people born in the year of the ox, snake, and dragon.
Interesting.
There you go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
You're welcome.
Yay. So everybody born this year I'll be compatible with.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though I hate children. But it's not their fault, I guess. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. Yeah. Happy New Year. I hope everybody has a fantastic... This episode's coming out New Year's Eve, so have a great New Year. Please let us know what your reading goals are for yourself if you feel like you want to share with us. You can email us booksandbeespod@gmail.com. Our Instagram is @booksandthebeespod. We'd love to chat with you about what goals you have, how well you did this year, what you want to change for next year, because we love it. If you want to have a New Year's resolution that you can tick off really quickly, you can set a New Year's resolution to give us a 5-star review on your podcast listening app, which we've recently learned does not include Apple Podcasts, and that is my fault, so I'm working on trying to fix that. I'm so sorry. But whatever you're listening to us on, you're listening somehow, so give us a 5-star on that, and if it's a New Year's resolution, you do this on January 1st, and bam, you've already completed a resolution, and you feel great about yourself. Just like Michael Scott in The Office when he talked about flossing, and he did it once, and it was good.
Yes.
Great. You can also thank the American Indie for the use of their song Rendezvous by listening to them on Spotify, which is always in our show notes. That song is the intro and outro to our podcast. It's a bop. We love them so much, and we're so lucky we get to use it. So thank you so much, American Indie. You're great.
Hell yeah, thank you.
And happy 50th episode, Hailey.
Yeah, happy 50th episode.
1 year is coming up soon. Yeah, yay.
Awesome.
Okay, that's all I have.
All right. Well, with that, we hope you enjoyed this literary journey as much as we did. If you're buzzing with excitement, don't forget to subscribe, email us, and leave a 5-worthy review on your podcast listening app. Until next time, happy reading, and may your shelves be filled with tales as enchanting as a blooming garden. Keep the buzz alive, and we'll catch you in the next chapter. Bye for now.
Bye.